Okay. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Ooh, kind of grabbed me by the boo boo there. All right, guys. I'm just going to jump right into it. Um, all morning. Same thing, itchy face. Um, I was going to cover that happy ending girl or happiness trail or whatever the German girl's name is. A little draining. I'll get to her later for you guys. Basically, on this girl, looks like she's been vlogging, like she's one of those post-pandemic vloggers that was trying to show, oh, look at me, living on a budget. And she goes off to all these places. Looks like she went through a breakup. Don't know if she's married, but whatever. Now she's in the hospital, and every day she reposts the same 3 clips I've seen of her needing money. And who knows if she's still there, if she's in Germany again, if, how long was she in there? But she went into the hospital in December. But I'll get to her because there's always something to actually learn from that, too. But I want to get straight to it. Guys, thank you for us reaching 21,000 subscribers. Without you guys, without you, there's no us. And it is deeply appreciated that you guys watch and that you guys have been here for us. There's been some real hardcore people that have stayed with us from the beginning, like in Florida, Mexico. We still have these people that are still with us for the ride. Appreciate it. Let me know how the volume is. I've been messing around. I don't like this rig part in here, but I'm trying to chill today, and it's got to be in there. And I'm going to try to get a desktop mic where I can put it here in front of me. But guys, thank you again for joining us. And if you're not subscribed, of course, subscribe. But today, this will be a full topic of conversation. Okay, this is going to be a discussion of multi-channels that have been trying to cover this company. Okay, even the company responded. Guys, I just looked at the rest of that this morning, so I may be off on some of this stuff. But basically, even the company responded, but with an AI voice. And so it's an expat-owned company that's doing construction, and Paul released a video yesterday saying he couldn't say. And then I'm like, wait a minute, he listed that on his Facebook. But the reason Paul's not is because it looks like this guy's always got something to say, not him, the construction company. So he's concerned with um, defamation. He's concerned with, like some of the other guys, that this guy would just go off. And so we can make this a topic of conversation because there's so much information. So I will go through some of this stuff, but it's just not expats that he's done this to. He's also done it to Filipinos. So you have a Filipino, as I'm to understand, hardware store. She's out somewhere around the markings of about 700,000 pesos, which is a lot because she had loaned this guy this stuff out. But my problem is, and seeing all this, did nobody do their due diligence? Supposedly, the construction company's only been around a short period. Did they not look into like all the bells, whistles, buttons, and everything else and do a due diligence? Did somebody fall asleep at the helm? Because it's just not one person. There was even a Filipino and her Polish husband that's got a pretty good sized YouTube channel, 500,000 subscribers, where they were building a resort of a sort, and things did not pan out for them either. They're out some money. Why I'm talking about this, might as well put this up. So here's some of the actual posts. That's the girl's husband. There's the company. They've been responding. Okay, there's been multi people that have covered this. Paul had discussed his bunkhouse being stolen, house of cards, and like what a nightmare things have been for him. And all kinds of stuff going on, all kinds of juicy stuff to talk about today. Again, join the conversation. Let me know if there's something that's been more updated. There's another gentleman that's covered this, but I won't say his name because his name is kind of funky. And he's like, basically the guy is out there, says he's an ex-cop or something. And I'm like, nice name for an ex-cop. And so that's why his little photo didn't go up today, was because of his name. But he's also been putting out videos that pretty much a bunch of stuff that, so all kinds of stuff is out there, guys. I did put the links to some of this, okay, to the construction company and to the people, some of them that have been covering it, but it seems to be like widespread over there. And as I'm to understand, it might be beyond Valencia too. So that is the topic today of conversation, and it will kind of probably fall into the rentals and being able to whether you would purchase or not and make that decision. Because purchasing land, no matter what this other guy said, he said, "Oh, don't let nobody tell you about being able to purchase land and you guys not doing your research. It's full of crap. You can." Yeah, there are ways, but most people cannot. And if you do, it still could be a nightmare. Okay, so it's just not Googling it. It is the truth. Expats cannot own land. Are there ways around it? Yes. The condos, corporation, forming a corporation, going through certain companies and attorneys. Sure, but why the hell would you go through all of that? And, most of you are like in your 50s, 60s, 70s that are coming over here. It's a headache too. And if you try to build the house on your own here in the Philippines, it's an absolute nightmare. And if you hire a construction company, it can be even worse, even the best of them. Like when I heard of this company and Paul was talking about them in the beginning, it just sounded like, oh, what a nice company and some of the finished product or something. But how are you guys even sure that's their finished product when these construction companies are showing you that? And it turns out that Paul was talking about the bunkhouse part of it. And it's so true. They will pre-build something to live on. The construction guys will live on your land when they're doing it. So they don't even like go back home, or they just stay there. And he said they built like a latrine they were going to the bathroom on. And it just, all kinds of things go through my head. But he had just found out recently that they actually left. And it's like, okay, bonus. I was like, oh crap, that means they're not working anymore. And here's another thing. Paul has made accusations and statements. The others have made accusations and statements. It's up to you guys to figure like where things are. The consensus is, and according to the Google information under the company, I will name the company because I'm not here to slander. I'm here to spread information for my fellow expats to check into these companies. They're just one of them that need to be checked out. I believe it is Orange Kite Group. I thought it was Orange Kite Construction initially. I don't know if there was a name change. It's an expat-owned company. And the ratings are like plummeted. It's at like 1.1. And who knows? There could be a bunch of good ratings on the guys. But this is, for you guys to check out. You should check out these companies. But the bunkhouse is gone. The people said, I'm back to that. Sorry, I'm digressing. The bunkhouse is gone. The guys are gone. They had not been paid in a week or two or for a while. And so they left. So there's a video that the Orange Kite Company had posted, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. And they stated in an AI voice, that there's a bunch of misinformation and a lot of stress, and I've been attacked through emails. I had a heart attack. And he went through all these stages of trying to explain these things to you. And he said, I'm trying to think exactly how he said that. He, at one point, said the permits were left to a guy to do it. Then he turned around and blamed the guy for being an addict, and that he asked people that they were doing construction for money, friends for money. Stuff was deposited into his account. As I'm to understand, I thought I heard Paul say that he had to go do some of the permits, so I'm not sure what's really going on, but the guy's blaming everybody. But yet a bunch of construction is undone, was supposed to be done in like 6 months, and it's been quite a while and this stuff is undone. So, it's a lot to chew on, guys. I know you probably have seen some of this, and a lot of you guys are watching Paul, and so today should be pretty interesting. So, yeah. So I will. Hey, Michael, what is going on? Beamer, real quick. I'm going to bring this up because it's at the bottom and I can see it right away. Why is this guy not locked up? Here's the thing. According to this guy called Life in the PI, I tried to reach out to him this morning and I don't get the WhatsApp app at all. I rarely use it. I thought I had the right email. If he is in the room, let me know. I'll send you a link so you can join. But last I heard from him, like watching his video yesterday and today, he said that the NBI knows about all of this. Like they said, he's been on the radar. It's the Philippines. Sorry, guys. They dropped the ball. It's weird who they'll pick up and they'll catch on certain things. But yet this guy is like doing some really foul stuff to all sides and he's still here. Some say that the company owner has left. Some say no, he's here nearby. They're saying he's on the radar, but yet nothing is being, I guess they're kind of working on it right now. But, I think about the people that they go and do things to on the simplest things and they'll deport and then you got a guy like this that's just running amok. I don't remember if it was the PI guy. I think it was that said that he believes this guy wants to be the next con artist of the year and hope they make a movie about him. Now, I don't know if the guy heard him say this or if that's what he's thinking he's trying to do. I don't think it's all of that. Okay. I don't think, everybody believes they should have a movie done. Somebody said Paul World Zoom should have had one done. I would believe that over this kite construction, but I guess there's other things going on because the PI guy mentioned the attorney. He mentioned, let me see, I took a few notes because this got kind of skelter this morning. A staffa charge is allegedly, possibly, and that just means taking in the money and not producing, in a nutshell, not producing, say, the house. He blamed the employees on the permits. I do want to state that Orange Kite themselves said that these are all false accusations and that he had had a heart attack, and he says he's innocent. So I have to make that statement. And yeah, so let me go through some of the comments and I'll see what's going on. What is going on, Ted? Good morning. And let me know, guys, if you can hear me. What is going on? Hello, MB. Expat suckers, right? Here's my deal, really, is that I will be doing an up and coming video, probably like a 20-minute plus video about moving to the Philippines, which I've already done, but people need to look at the entire picture of moving here. And I want to let you know that the YouTube and Facebook error makes it look so much more easier. And even I fell into that trap, like totally, like, even though George was like, whoa, hold those horses. I'm like, yeah, but I want to go. And, it's cheaper over there and I can have a housekeeper. Dreams, man, all dreams, because the reality is way different than the dream. I'm going to tell you every time. And the only thing that would make that different, if somebody was sucking my duck. Because if somebody was sucking my duck, and I'm like this all day, then maybe I can forget about everything else. But unfortunately, that's not what's going on. And I have to do my own damn housework. So believe me, I'm outraged right now. No duck sucking and nobody doing my dishes. As a matter of fact, when I dump George, I'm going to get me a girlfriend. So, true story. So I need more coffee. But I'm going to do this video. It's going to be on the other channel, Expatainment Philippines, which used to be our pet channel. And we double broadcast. And I'm going to go through like book reality and dreams versus like getting here, if it really works for you, because it really needs to be addressed. And I just seen another guy talk about the Orange Kite company, and he's like, "Whoa, everybody out here with your drama and blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "Why doesn't anybody talk about, I've lived in the Philippines for 20 years and I got my wife and we travel all over the world. Where are those videos? Where are they? They're a dying breed because nobody wants to watch that crap anymore where it's like, oh, yes, I had such a good time at the resort last night, and the pina coladas tasted like a dream." No more, guys, because those aren't the videos. If you want to be fed like this dead dream and that's the way things are when you live here long term, then that's up to you. Life is not paradise no matter where you are. It's what you actually make of it. Where are your sacrifices? Where is your planning? Where is just everything? So that video will come out here in the next few days. So expat suckers, yeah. And as a matter of fact, we've said it, George and me, a dozen, 100 million, zillion, trillion times. Don't buy, because although they claim that there's a bunch more built that they have no problems, you know what? Most of these guys are building their own. They're controlling the whole thing. I believe this other couple are flying back and forth to have these houses built, and there are others that do it, and it's like, and if these people know it, there's such a big delay as far as like construction. They know you're out of town for that month or two. They slow down. They probably sit around for 3 days and not work. So, oh boy, Chosen One's got his beer. What is going on, Racer X? Again, let me know how the volume is. I'm gonna, like I said, get a desk microphone so it's directly here on top of me. And everybody say hi to Luby Luby over there. Okay, we put her in the house. Ladybug over there joins the house when it's just me. And for those that are looking for the update on George again, usually he appears on Tuesday. You guys aren't going to believe this. He's out working on still registering that car. That car that we got a year ago, still not registered. Welcome to the Philippines. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this live stream. I had about 3 options this morning, and I said, oh yeah, let's just leave the drama for your mama. What's up? What's up? Right? Ooh wee. What's up with that? What's up with that? I mean, come on. And it's like this guy takes in the deposits usually in advance. And a lot of them, as I'm to understand, Paul was like, oh, it's not a lot of money, but it hurt. And I'm like, okay, well, if you took 5,000 away from me, I'd be hunting somebody at that point over 5 grand. And as I'm to understand, on average, it's usually about a half a million pesos. Usually these houses cost about 1.5 to 2.5 to 3.5 for something, 2 bedrooms or so. I'm just giving a generalized. I think they said the cost is 25 to 35,000 pesos per square meter, inch. I don't know inches and meters anymore, but that's the average. So it turns out 2 million pesos. So they take usually multi-payments. So my guess is, Paul, drop me a message. I would probably say he's out probably 10,000 US. It would still be a real hot mess. So now Paul is saying that he's going to just like square off the land and just wait. He's not doing any more, no nothing. They're just going to work on it later. And he really needs to work on that because you're not promised tomorrow's situation, and we know he has multiple medical conditions. Doing okay, but I wouldn't delay too much. But that's his plans, is to do a delay. But Chismas Tuesday, it's every day, girl. Boy, I'm trying to see if that's like a spot. I could be wrong. Yeah, that might be a boy. Sorry, I said girl. I'm just yeah. I've been, if you guys can hear, I'm like having a hard time. I've got like some sort of respiratory issue going on. Ever since I went out to go get that MBI check, I've been like out for the count, guys. I've had major respiratory, and now they're burning plastic tires and trash has been rampant for the past 2 weeks in this area. So I'm about 2 miles from the airport, 2 miles from Marquee Mall, but yet I'm on the edge of Angeles City and Mabalacat City. So it doesn't take us long. That's why I always say it's Angeles City area, because that's where we are most of the time. And they're burning rubber like crazy. And I was sitting here last night. I had to get up and hit the inhaler and I'm on the steroid one too. It's just been crazy, guys. So just miss about the burning trash. Yes, Gordon Ramsay did open up the restaurant in Manila, and it showed him out and about. They had announced that it was coming and everything. Here's the crazy thing about Gordon Ramsay, okay, from Hell's Kitchen, is that there are 10,000 reservations, like people waiting to get in. Think about that. There's the other content that I was going to cover, is the haves and have not, because there's a big portion of the country that's living at under middle class and just being poor, where they're only making X amount a day. Households under $700-800 a month, but yet somehow, some way, who is paying for that? If you calculate the amount of expats that are here, because you guys think they're really high, it's not. The percentage of expats are not. Who's affording this, and where are they affording it? I'm assuming these are all online jobs, family wealth, an accumulation of everybody living in the same house, because the prices don't change because it's the Philippines. So you're still going to pay several hundred US dollars to go to that restaurant. And it's like, no. And we're upper middle class or higher, and I would not go there. So it's 10,000 reservations. If you're talking about the restaurant, yeah, crazy. It's probably slightly lower, like McDonald's here is slightly lower. I'd probably say we're paying 70-80% of the prices. It's cheaper, don't get me wrong. So it is upstate. Good morning, Kay Dallas. Good morning. Tony is in the house. And guys, again, let me know if you know anything about this Expat construction company. If any of you, I will give an individual link to somebody that wants to join today, if they're one of the couple people that have been covering them, because that way they can give their opinion and give their foresight on what's going on. Because the reason I'm covering the people that I do is, for those that don't know, I'll repeat it again. There's about 20 different vloggers that are in a link of people that all of you guys watch, and we're in a specific group. Paul is one of them. And when that comes under my radar and I'm being fed it from YouTube, I'm definitely going to cover it. I may even cover you anyways. But he's been going through like a lot of problems with this house building. And I was like, yeah, I usually don't like talking about rentals anymore, or anything similar. And then I'm like, yeah, no, this needs to be covered, because a bunch of them have been covering it. So that's why the others have come under the umbrella of information. Good morning, Sarah. I hope you're getting better. Hope you're doing well. Hi. So you like my Looby Lube? Maybe I would come up with a name. I forgot what I just called her. Ladybug. Good morning. Let's do the Philippines. MJ is in the house. Good morning. Okay, volume is good. Susanna, proud single mother. Good morning. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Oh, there's flooding going on everywhere. Yes, Paul's a good guy. We haven't had any problems with Paul. We've never met up with him or anything, but we've had messenger conversations and phone conversation with him, and he's been very helpful. The consensus say that he's a good guy. He's who he actually is. Good morning, California Oscar, one of our members. Hello, Heidi. How are you doing this morning? Lovely people from California. How is the rain and the fires, California Oscar? because I was seeing the news yesterday. They said there's a bunch of rain coming in. Now they're expecting flooding and everything, and that's just a tragedy. So, Dan Finn, it is inside of the description, their own statement. So, it's kind of hard to scream defamation when you're in there giving a bunch of information. I'm just going to repeat what everybody's been saying. And the name of the company, no matter who you're actually using to construct, you should check them out. This is one that you would want to check out. And that is Orange Kite Group. I thought it was Orange Kite Construction, could be under either of them, and that's here in the Philippines. Allegedly, the company's fairly new and that they have stopped construction, that there's a bunch of people out of money right now, and I don't know why they're out of that money. I would think that these people that are making these accusations and are going through all of this, that they filed something with the NBI. Supposedly the NBI does know. And it's like, yeah, the wheels will turn really slow on that. So I'm sure all of these people are doing something. I can't just see somebody like Paul or these other guys just saying, let them keep the 10,000 and blah, blah, blah. No. So I'm sure that they're doing something, because is attorneys expensive here? Yes, but they're also inexpensive too. So I would be investing a few thousand just to try to get things back, or at least, if these companies, as I'm to understand, it's just not one company that has done this sort of thing, but this is an expat company that allegedly a bunch of money is owed, uncompleted work, employees not paid. And yeah, so I have put some links in the description for you guys to go through. Gotcha. I will put the link in the actual description. Okay. But if it's not the people that I know that have covered this, I'm just not randomly opening up the room, guys, to just like have people, not right now, anyways. And let me see if I can get that real quick. Yeah, because I want to keep it like on topic for what's going on. And that'll tell you. With him being a member, you guys are always welcome on the panel. It doesn't matter what level. So, um, so for that, purpose, and if one of the people are in the room that I've seen their videos, then that'll be fine. If you guys come up, I'll just, you know, besides that, the rest. But and I'll get through some of these conversations, some of these statements too, before. So consider membership, guys. This is my point to break in and say, if you're not a member, then you don't know. And they start at different levels. I think the cheapest, we have like 2 or 3 levels, and I think it's $2.25. I'm pretty sure you could get his exit clearance blocked so he can't run. Um, if these people, when the construction took 6, 7, 8 months, a year, and then nothing happened, I would have reported him then. I'm not even going to hesitate. It doesn't. But evidently, the weird part is there's a ton of them that this has happened to all recently, and I'm curious on that too. The consensus is he's still here, and it was weird to hear the MBI say he's on the radar, and I'm like, okay. Smile and be happy. Hey, Slick Rick. Heidi, I heard on one of Paul's videos, he said it was 6 months Social Security, and the average Social Security is 18. Yeah, so that'd be under 12,000 or about 10,000 then. So yeah, 6 times. If you had 2, it'd be 12,000 US dollars. So no, I figured about 10 was what he was out. So yeah. All these expats being burnt trying to take care of their Filipino. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm actually seeing. And then some guys just want to have their place built so they don't have to worry about rent, but it turns out to be more of a problem. oh, oh, itchy, itchy. Excuse me. oh, sorry, guys. Um, get some of my hand sanitizer here. Got it's like a coconut. It's a coconut oil. Um, Flow relief. They have like Flow Relief Company has a like this stuff that I put like my skin breaks out really bad on my arms and different things because of my lupus. Whether I sweat or go out in the sun, I'm breaking out in blotches everywhere, and then it needs to be dried out and taken care of. Oh, that's a little expensive. I guess I should have shook it first. Uh, okay. So yeah. So back to that. Yeah, but it does turn out that some of these guys are just building their houses. They don't want to deal with rentals and all of this other thing. Most of the time, it involves a Filipina. And then understand, I'm sure he's building houses for just not expats. The one, they're saying that this issue had happened to was, a hardware store. He was getting supplies, and I don't. Who lets him run up a bill of 600,000, which is about 10 to 12,000 US dollars, and then not expect a payment out of the guy? Maybe he was making some payment, so it appears that he is. So he's up to this amount, and he's dropping, say, 50,000 pesos a month, and I guess he's ahead of the game. But the fact that he still owes all that was kind of crazy. So, Merry Christmas, Joker. Heidi, I've noticed also Paul now seems to be more sensitive since he stopped smoking. Have you noticed the same? Um, yeah, but I think he's wanting to get more into the raw part of everything. I think he's being a little bit more open. I think he's aware that being that open is a little better, but I think he knows the limits too. Because when you get that high and everybody loves and hates you, then they're looking to take you down in any manner. That's just the way that it happens. But I don't know. It could be. That's like when I get sick and everything. I pick at George, but I told George, don't feel special, because if it was my children or grandsons or, whatever it is, I'd be picking on them too. If it was my best friend, I'd just be like, ah, rah, 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 rah. It's just the way that it is. But good morning, Timothy. By the way, an update on the delivery driver. He came yesterday and he came that same day. He came after 12 o'clock, by the way. So I was just thinking, I just seen there's deliveries today, but yeah, I'm like, please before 9 o'clock and then after 12 o'clock. And he showed up at like 12:20 yesterday. So I told him thank you. And I gave him a tip, guys. uh, I make him like iced coffees and give him food and do all these other things. Okay. The Lakia is a girl. Okay. Gotcha, gotcha. Philip Mays, good morning, says hello. Here in Los Angeles, he has a restaurant, $100 for hamburger and cheese, and it looks nice in a sense, a restaurant, but still, come on. No, that's what I mean. The only thing that I'd be willing to pay any price, possibly, and even then you would have a hard time after me living in the Philippines, is his beef Wellington. And it's been a long, long time since I've had beef Wellington, so that'd be something I'd be interested. But I'm not going to wait months to get in there, travel to Manila. Just it's insane. 10,000 reservations. And that's something I fought with when I got here. It's like you'll see so much poverty and people that aren't making any money. And then all of a sudden you'll see all these new motorcycles and cars. People try to explain they're on payment. And I'm like, okay, but payment. I seen somebody on TikTok yesterday that was showing brand new cars being sold, which is not a place to buy cars, guys, on like through a TikTok. The guy was selling cars and people were asking questions. He had like 400 people in the room. And I'm like, okay, I get people are curious, could just be a bunch of young kids dreaming and stuff. But the down payments, I could have sworn he said that it was like 10,000 US. No, wait a minute, I take that back. It was 10 to 15,000 pesos. No, it was no, it was. It when I calculated it was 2,000 US dollars. 2,000, 3,000. Which okay, I don't know what the cars are going for because I had to think about it because I calculate it's 10,000. That would be $200. So when I calculate, it turned out to be about 2,000 US dollars down. But the same with the payments. He's like, "Oh, they're 30,000." I'm like, "That's 600 a month for a car." I was like, "No, no way." So I'm like, which one of these guys in the room can afford a $2,000 down payment and then that they can afford an actual, you know, 25 or 30,000 peso a month payment? Not a lot, but yet you see all these new cars around. So it kind of so I was like, what's really going on? Insane. And so I'm like, with all of this, I don't get it. I don't get how so many poor people and people that are in certain brackets of income and then boom. But they say they're financing most things or it's a group housing thing and yeah, I mean, that would be my guess. Of course, it's people that are living in that area, and of course, 10,000, but that's still not everybody even there has. I mean, I guess they're the echelons. Okay, in Hope House. I will put this. I see your comment, Juan. I'm not going to highlight it because of the words you use, and I'm not even sure how you because usually that word is I hate to say it, I block that word for the most part, but and it could be. I don't know. I'm reading things don't always get held on this end. But it says David Wilkerson in Hope House, Cebu is possibly trafficking or something. I don't know anything about that story. How about a repatriation video series about Filipinos who have been away for too long and who want to come home from the US? I'm sure it feels like going home to a different, yeah, that is actually, um, that's probably something, and we might end up putting it on the other channel. And the reason being is this channel specifically is expats and I get the repatriation and that there's George and me doing this channel. Um, yeah, of course, it's definitely going to feel like that. But that would be a great topic for the other channel because, like I said, we're going to keep this one live streams, probably Ricky's outings and George's outings and restaurant stuff, like when we go out on resorts. But all the rest of it'll probably fall on the other channel. Maybe just every day me walking around doing things or us going maybe to the mall. Some of those other videos will fall on the other channel. So, hey, what is going on, Ruby? I did see that Izzy and Chris, illegal Filipinos, are now being deported to the uh, are now being deported back. Maybe you meant from the U.S. Some locals on the news say that's not right. They should be able to stay. However, they applaud the BI for deporting overstaying Americans. Correct. Everybody has to follow the system. And, I put something up a few days ago about, people do have X amount of rights and this, and that. But it looks like, I'm just repeating what a Filipino newspaper said here. So I only copied and pasted that information. And so some people kind of personally said some things like, like we had wrote that or something, but we get it. I was just putting in information, but no, they have to follow that. And yes, they're starting to. And at first, people like, oh, it's only going to be criminal. So they've been feeding people this information. And now you're finding out it's going to be everywhere. And I was watching the news this morning about the tariffs and how it's going to affect and all this stuff that they're going on about. And it's like, yeah, it's going to affect everybody, guys. It's going to affect everybody, they're like, well, just don't buy that Colombian coffee or just don't buy this. What you guys don't realize, it'll hurt the other countries too when they're not selling that many products. And then it's going to hurt the consumer, on the other end. Just don't buy this. No, it's everything. Like, what's the prices of eggs for you guys right now? And I'm hearing all kinds of stuff on how they showed some farms where there was nobody there and empty construction sites. I kind of figured maybe it's a little fear mongering and that they're just showing little bits of it going on. I don't know how widespread it is, but in general, back to that. Yes, you have to keep your paperwork, going and everything. And yes, the Philippine embassy had warned people in advance before this all happened. So those that don't have their paperwork and they're not paying, that's something for me that I can't feel any sympathy for, because it'd be the same, for me. They'd be the first, you know. Oh, you're talking about where it's raining cats and dogs over at my house. It's a little bit mudslide, but nothing major. Around the burned areas I can see on the news, 45 degrees. Racer X is, as she's adjusting, still filing papers. Yeah, sorry to hear about that. That was crazy. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate that on the 21,000 subscribers. Yes. Jay's Philippines. Good morning, Heidi. Houses will be needed regardless of the landmines and hurdles that seem to be unavoidable. Yes. To me, it sounds like a great opportunity for builder construction companies to build, yeah, their reputations. Yeah, they really need to, and it'll be a time. Yeah, because it doesn't represent everybody for sure. So there's plenty of good companies. I would make sure they have that reputation. And really, I just can't see, personally for us, I can't see building. Although we have talked about it, we're like, well, what if our channel takes off and we are saving money when we're saving money already? What if we decide to? And I start thinking about all that, and maybe it's something to just be avoided, but some people want their houses and everything. But if we did, we would have to find somebody that, that has a reputation. I have no idea what that is, Mike. Mike Kelp is giving some love to George. Yes. I don't know if I want to bring my wife to the States because I don't know if I can spot myself there. Never mind a wife. Are you talking about like sponsoring or? At least you're giving out real life, Heidi. What can happen here is not all glitter and not gold. And it's not in the United States either. So it's kind of like if we'd have continued in the United States, more than likely it'd have been George sitting there saying, hey, this is what's happened since I've lived here and what happens. Like George has been through a lot of stuff too since he lived in the United States. He's been through a whole bunch. And so all I can say is it's not all glitter for the Filipinos to live over there either. And there's so much. This next 4 years in the United States is going to be so critical. There is so much going on right now. Um, my head spins on a daily basis watching all the things that Trump is doing, President Trump, and the changes that he's making. And there's already people making plans for the next 4 years. I heard that they're saying that Trump might have actually mentioned something about extending his presidency another 4 years by adding that as a new policy. Other countries are certain to retaliate, say things, and I don't know, guys. I don't think we're gonna avoid that World War 4 or 5 or 9 or whatever it is that's up and coming. I just there's just something. I mean, I'm glad that he's grabbing the bootstraps and saying, "Hey, listen up." But I also, on the other hand, can say he kind of does these childish things like the memes he posts out there. Like somebody said he posted a flag with his own photo on it on his page or something. And I don't know, there's a lot of things that he's doing to me that's immature. And then I'm like, way to go. So I'm kind of feeling like bipolarish about his bipolarish presidency. But I'm like, at least he's doing something. It's better than sleeping on the job like the other presidents. So there's so much coming up for the United States. But if George was going to we had stayed, it'd probably been more about him living there and just whatever travels and things we were doing. Just stop investing in the Philippines until their government gives us common sense protection laws. Yeah, good that AI will take over most of the call center jobs. Karma. Yeah, and they're going to. They're saying 20 million jobs will disappear here in the next year. And yes, it's coming. It's very much coming. As a matter of fact, you know what I read an article on also this morning, among other things that I've done? They said they would rather have AI do this than to hire the last generation to do these jobs because nobody wants to work anymore. I'm sorry, you guys can put it any way you want. This new generation has just been raised into being coddled so bad and so woke that it's unreal, man. I can just picture myself. Oh man, it's like I could just picture my mother if I'd have done any of that stuff. What would have happened to me? If I'd have even thought about the stuff. He most likely built the bunkhouse with the construction supplies he got on credit. Right? They probably come and repoed. I bet that kitty was loose. The hot dog in the hallway caboose. Yeah, they probably. Oh, jeez. Hey, what's going on, Donald, Russell, Heidi? Hello, Heidi from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Have you ever tried Frankenstein or Frankenstein for pain with lupus? It has been working well for me on my arthritis. Never heard of it. There's a lot of different like remedies you can actually use. Um, there's a few things that I do, like, I take my omega 3s and I take like the multivitamins that I have and things that are really good for lupus. I've substantially have cut back on my sugar, substantially like replaced like different things that are dairy and processed. Like everything in the house for the past month has been unprocessed. So we don't have like the chips and the salty items. And so we have like, you know, regular like pumpkin seeds and more healthy stuff. So I pick and choose when I'm going to use sugar and I use it sparingly. But making those changes have helped. It's not exactly helping my other medical conditions, but it's an improvement and overall. But I would have to check into that. So I'm assuming that's a herbal remedy. Yes, it actually is. 2,000 cowboys. The Orange Kite group Dumageddon is everywhere on YouTube and Facebook. Wow, yeah, no, it's everywhere. It's for them to for Paul. I understand why Paul's taking back on not saying their name because he would be the first person. But you know, I can tell you to do your due diligence and go look at these companies and there's no reason not to do that. And it was already on Paul's pages anyways. If you just looked into some of his videos, he had mentioned this like before that he was going to be using a company. And I was like, I thought that was already on his Facebook group or his Facebook page and everything. But and then I was like, wasn't it the orange something? And I actually remembered it just from reading. So yeah, it's all out there. And I still can't believe the guy used an AI voice to cover it. And remind me, does anybody know isn't he? Aren't they saying he's no offense, guys, African or something? They said that he was. I thought it was a British guy, or I forgot where I'd heard who the person was. But again, that's just all hearing hearsay. And then one of the other guys said he was South African or something, and I'm like, well, that could be why he used AI so people couldn't hear his voice. And so it's like you put one and one and one and one together, and then this other guy, the life and the PI, like he goes further. He's giving websites and everything else on different things, which it was too long of an article to read what was all on that website. The rabbit hole goes deep on that. If I paid $20 for a hamburger in this country, it'd be too much. I was looking the other day at I was going to, and I said I quit processed food, so but I order something like once a week. Last week it was something I got the salad and the Caesar salad wrap and everything, and I'm like, okay, I just outright just want a hamburger anyways. It's like I'm not here to not enjoy myself either. And when I looked into it, it's like $4 for a Jollibee, their Champ Junior burger, and I'm like, yeah, that's a lot to pay 240 pesos or 230 pesos for a hamburger here when 800 pesos and 1,000 pesos is a good job, a day. And I'm like, yeah, I just couldn't bring myself to it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, no. So it's like I talked myself out of it. So I didn't even want to pay $4 here, let alone 100. Okay, Joker, I have a question. Since I got my 13A permanent residency, when I come back into the Philippines, do I need a round trip ticket? The answer is no. Yeah, absolutely not. Yeah. And you do have the permanent residency, right? You don't have uh, the temporary, because you're not supposed to leave the country during the temporary part of it. Hey, what's going on? Expat construction company nightmare in the Philippines. There was a video released by Paul Old Dog New Tricks. He's been slowly releasing them about the nightmare that he's had, and finally he released something to say, hey, he's just going to stop the construction. He's not whatever, and he's just going to like rope off the place and wait till later. And then when I started doing my research, when I start going down that rabbit hole is my word today, that I found out that this has been covered the past month. Somebody might have mentioned it to us in the live stream, but until it comes into our circle of people, guys, unless it's like extraordinary, like I'm gonna cover that German woman, it might be tomorrow, it could be Thursday. Unless there's something really into the story, then it's but it's been going on with Paul, and he's pretty much had it. So I'm like, yeah, I think that'll be my priority on live streams. So yes, for the other channel, yes, Expatainment. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave the name there. I reconsidered putting another name on that, and I was thinking about relatable expat. That's what we had before that, and I said no, expatainment. Whether it's entertaining or informative or kind of fits. It'll work for people because it's the only one that comes up. If you just type in the word expatainment without the dash, it now officially comes up. There's nobody else, not even close with the name. When I grow up, I want to be an expat. If they apply the 50% tariffs, they don't need the income tax to raise enough money for the government. Yeah. Yeah. Bobby G, a member. Bobby, tell people that they need to become a member and tell them why. I'll be glad when StreamYard shows priority of the members. Like, there's got to be a way. There's no way for us to shuffle you guys, and there's no way to go through StreamYard and go down and find you guys without losing like our spot of going in and keeping the conversation going. I'm sure they'll do it soon, and there's not even any way here when I'm looking. I got the tablet down here to see prioritization. Let me see if it'll. No, it just says go to. No, let me try this. No, there's something that said prioritize chat. under, and it doesn't. It says for super chat stickers and everything. I didn't think so. I have to check because they're always updating the apps and stuff. But it did say channel members, but I think that's just dealing with stickers, like when you guys send the money and everything. But yeah, they don't. There's no way for me to put people's, to see them until I get through. But thank you, Bobby. Good morning. I hope they don't accidentally deport me when I go back to the States. Right? Where you going? Where you going, chosen one? Looking all squirrely. He ain't sending me back. It's, I just, I don't know. They've been talking about all that and the deportations and the farmers and the workers and the hospital people, and they're going through all this stuff, and he's like, nobody will be working soon. I'm like, yeah, and then AI will take over, and then everybody can just sit at home. We can all be vloggers. Trump is awesome, and everything is planned outrage planning. I don't know. I just think it's weird how he'll get something done, and I'm like, yeah, it should have been done. Like the McKinley whatever that got renamed, the monument. It's like I agree with stuff like that, but then he'll turn around and do something else, and it's like, why do you go and do that for? And then it's just like, but he did do this, but he's getting more done than the last three presidencies. Wait a minute, wasn't he one of the previous three? And what is this deal about Obama dating Jennifer Aniston? It actually ended up on that Ocala Girls. I don't know what her name is. I call her College Girl. One of the podcast girls, and a couple of the big podcast people are now saying Obama and Michelle are getting a divorce, and now she's dating Jennifer Aniston, and I'm like, yeah, I could probably see that, but it's like, what's really going on? I don't know. How's he going to avoid that, Michelle, when Trump is president? I wouldn't say that. He can't control that if all of a sudden the other side does something, but I don't know. Well, that doesn't mean the other countries he'll fight back. I'm not saying he's going to start. It's going to be the other countries. Okay, he all the different things that he's done already. Okay, but add in a bunch of them, and I mean, here's the thing that I'm thinking could happen with all this stuff against the Spanish culture and all these people being deported, and that's mostly who they're deporting. The country. I think that's the countries that could all be the ones that. I mean, I don't know. I just think they all could get together and cause issues, but I don't. Who's to say? But I get that he's anti. Doesn't mean those countries couldn't get together. So there's a lot of them. It says no, Vance will be running next, and well over a 500,000. Half of America voted for Trump, so he has done every single thing promised so far. He's not stealing from America and selling out our country. Yeah, I was saying the last president was a hot mess for sure, Bobby. Most definitely. And we don't always have to agree to disagree, because it can't be that you have to love every single thing the current president does. And there's so many things that he's working on right now. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. Vance, there's a bunch of them that are going to try to get in next year, but I think, yeah, that office will just continue to take over. Doggy. Earn doggy full. Paul had to withdraw his last funds from the bags under his eyes, getting taken for a build project, but hey, let's go have cosmetic surgery in Cebu. That's what I said during the live stream. I said, way to go to get your cosmetic surgery. As a matter of fact, I watched the video where they called each other on Baby May's Mr. and Mrs. Tan, because he now looks Chinese, and I was like, yeah, he kind of does with his eyes, done up like this. And then I'm like, when I seen it, George glanced over and he says, why does that look like he's like cosmetic surgery. And I'm like, I think he's saying he had these big bags under his eyes and that they had to be taken because it was messing with his eyes. And George is like, looks like cosmetic surgery. So, hey, Evie, hey, got it going on. Good morning, Victoria, George, and everyone quickly dropping in to hit the like button. I have government department appointments to get to. Takes care. Victoria, God bless you. Victoria's had a loss in her family, and she's been extremely busy. Sorry for your loss, Victoria. She had a family member. I don't want to go too personal unless you say, and big hugs and love for you. So, what is going on, Victor? Well, off to bed. 3 a.m. comes fast, but hope everyone has a great night and God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bobby. 3 a.m. I guess it does. In the United States, what's it, about 9 p.m. on the East Coast, South African. Korean cardboard. Good morning. Okay, so South African. Hey, Filipina P, what is going on? Although seemingly impossible. Good morning, Heidi. I'm chilling here at the southern tip of Lake Michigan with my Filipino wife of 4 years. I still need one more year here so she can get my pension when I'm here. And we are 18-year age gap. Oh, that is cool. That is good to hear. So it is what it is on that. As I'm to understand, yes, in order to get your Social Security, she has to live there. And so that makes sense. It makes sense because they're still saying that Paul's wife, you know, not Paul's wife, hello. Well, yeah, baby May won't get it, will she? She would have to live in the US. So is that what we're saying is Paul, like baby May will not get his check unless she lives in the US? Also, as I'm to understand, they're saying there's all kinds of things going on with Widow Thornton too, as far as her being able to collect X amount, and who knows? There's so much information out there, so much misinformation. But that's so. It is 5 years. The price of real cheese is crazy. I bet it is. And I thought the Philippines was cheap, or expensive on some things. Now, some of their items here you will pay a lot for real cheese. And if you go into, like, when we go into the big box stores or go, at least there you can see the prices. That's why I don't like going to the market anymore. I'm not sure how fresh it is. A lot of that stuff is done and cooked out of their houses with no regulation. So I tend to, at least I can see the prices on the shelves, but be careful when you go to like SM and that. We've had seen expired price items on the shelf, like the dairy items and all that. So check the expiration dates. They tend to leave them. And when we go to Landers or Costco's, that's when the prices shoot up. But on the other hand, like I'll get like a case of water. It's better to buy it from them. The cat litter, I save, I don't know, about $20 a month just from doing that. So it well paid for the membership in the beginning. And because I was buying a different brand, or if I ordered it through Lazada, their heavy bags, it cost me more. So that's been a save. So, but when you get certain things there at Landers, it doesn't take long, and we're out 12,000 pesos, 8,000, and so just a couple items add up really quick. And if you get into buying any of their big box, like big box items, forget about it. It's kind of crazy. Oh, okay. Did you say Frankenstein? I'm pretty sure I read Frankenstein. Frankincense, essential oil. This is one of the three gifts that was given to baby Jesus. Yes, Google the benefits. The problem with me on frankincense is I get migraines really severe, and it does not help me. Frankincense is too strong for me. I have attempted the melaleuca oil on different levels, and so too much, I like immediately get like some sort of allergy, sinus, and reaction. So my skin, everything, and body is super sensitive. So is frankincense. 50-cent burger stands in Pranky, very cheap. My favorite place. Yeah, there's a lot of inexpensive Filipino food. The problem I have with that is it is a lot of it is really bad, and I know with me being a plus size girl, and you guys have seen me eat a lot of different foods and try them out. In the end, I've learned that it's very sugary. Like everything is times 10 on sugar and the oils and everything else. And usually those are soy burgers, which I do more soy and tofu now. And okay, Etta, you would have to show me. Okay, see, okay, so I can't, I had mentioned this earlier, the only people that I was letting in, aw, what's going on? Yeah. Okay. So on the Orange Kite group, it'd only be people that have actually put the videos out. So let's see. On going to check on getting citizenship here. So I will have dual. Um, gotcha. I mean, as in getting Filipino later. The lady on the thumbnail, I think I just watched a video of hers a few hours ago. Yeah, she's been putting out a few of them. Okay, I just want to do a reminder that I did mention earlier that the actual um, the actual link put in today are for those 4 people that have put out videos. There's 1 or 2 others. We're not just having random people join, and you would have to be a verified member at this point to let you guys into the panel. And you guys can blame every troll from here to the south. We're not randomly letting people in the lives anymore. It's been like that. So it's from experience and from, it tends to be if we let people in the live stream right now, they'll change the actual subject. And I appreciate you coming in and everything. And I love pets, I really do. But yeah, you do not look like one of the people that put a video out. Plus, we're already kind of going through different comments here. So, but yeah, so looks like at this point the other people aren't showing, but the actual the actual link is for the people dealing that know anything about the kite construction or had a little bit more information that was dealing with that, those that have done the videos, the other YouTubers, not other YouTubers that know information. So unless you're a proven member that I already know, then no, I won't. Not today, guys. Yeah. So yeah, that girl has her and her Polish husband have like a 500,000 subscribers. Let me see. I'll put this back up on stage for those that didn't see it. Um, there was her. Yeah. Dudkowski, Dudkowski, Dudkowski de Familia, de Familia, Familia, de Familia. Which I'm to understand they're Polish. Yeah, they got a lot of videos. So supposedly they were building an entire resort, apartment buildings, something like they were building multi things. So yeah, there she is. Yeah, there were several. There's him showing his people, Paul, House of Cards. Yeah, I remember when Paul went out to the construction site. I guess he'd been sick for a little bit. And I was telling George, I said, Baby May had to hold on to him. I know he was recovering from a few things. and he was going out there to check and everything. But I can only imagine the frustration. I just and he's has seen a lot of them. It doesn't mean that somebody who has actually done their research may not fall into these problems. So it could happen, guys. I bought land in my wife's name and built a house because I didn't want the stress of paying rent on a house payment. Okay, so that's that's what I said would be the other thing is that way you didn't have to deal with it. But by the time here's the thing, I had actually wrote something down here trying to figure it out. That building, if you guys are okay, okay with doing it and you have the money. Now, if me and George had like 300,000 US dollars in the bank and we could just say, hey, here's 80,000 to go build something. 1 second, guys. Somebody is knocking. Hold on. Somebody's just randomly, probably next door. No, it's next door. They're not even calling out to them. They're tapping their keys on the metal door. Ah, the landlord. It's okay, sweetie. Here, come here. Come here. Come here. Well, come here. Today, come here. Come here. Trying to get the puppy. Come here. There's my fuzzy little friend. Yes, you need what? Hi. Hi. Hi, bud. And there's the kitty. It's one of the kitties. Yeah, I say hi. I bought her like 2 other shirts the other day. And I think this is an extra small. Could be a small, but I got like the next size up and it goes all the way to her bottom and then it flips up. So all that extra material just gets flipped up and everything. But yeah, it's been almost another month. She's due for her bath. Yeah. And her haircut. Hey. I gotta get your hair colored. I'm gonna get you some of that doggy color. Yeah. So we can both have the same color hair. Yeah. Yeah. And say hi. Hi. Mary. My Christmas present. Maybe we should. Oh, why don't you? You are weird. You say hello. She does that weird thing, just like Doris said. I can never get her to look down unless she's. Okay. Yeah. See, the fur gets so. I clean her eyes every morning, and she gets brushed and everything. And I believe it or not, the hair's been cut away from her eyes so she can see. But it's been a month, hasn't it? Okay, let's put you down. So. Sorry about the disturbance. Yeah, there you go, Mary. Be good. Well, wake your dad up. But yeah, that I get a dozen eggs is $4, huh? That seems like a bargain, actually. Let's see, what are we paying here? I think the highest I pay if I have to get it direct from the store, 100 and some of the brown eggs and something's 100, about $2. So 109 pesos, 110. 240, I think. 240. So that's about so for that price, I can get 30 eggs. So yeah. Kind of crazy. Good morning. Hi, Aziza. Good morning, sweetie. We own scooters that are 2022 and 4-year-old Toyota van, all paid. No way I will ever have a car payment. Yeah, isn't that insane? The guy said, I'll have to calculate that. Because I know when I calculated it, I was like, no way. It was like over 100,000, 150,000, 200,000 pesos down. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's 2 to 4,000 US. And I get if you buy a new car in the United States, depending on your credit, you're only putting down a percentage. I've gotten cars with nothing down, and they weren't leases. So it depends at what point you had your credit. And like if you're going to put deposits, like when I got my Honda and bought it new after my grandparents passed away and I had inheritance, I went ahead and went in there and just paid cash. And they were like, well, you could finance. I'm like, no, I'm not going to finance when I could do the cash. But I kept buying cars from the same lot. And so my credit was already built up. But here, major down payments. And then I couldn't believe that they wanted $500 and $600 a month for these simple cars. I'm like, yeah, no way. And there's a lot of cars. That's the first thing George said. He goes, where are these people getting all these bikes and cars? You know, he had not remembered so many when he left. And then I was like, me too. And then you see the clothes can be explained because clothes are dirt cheap unless you're plus size like me. Okay. And I can have clothes custom made and I can buy clothes, but most of them, like George, on some of his clothes, he's a 3 and 4X here because it's Korean size, Asian size. And I'm like, yeah, okay, no way. So they are making bigger clothes for the expats. You can order them online. People send me clothes all the time from the United States. And it's, yeah, just kind of out there and everything. I'm running a rampant here. So agree, like some things Trump's done, but other things is not so much. Yeah, he needs to address housing costs. Prices are out of control. And here's the thing, it's probably not going to happen. He looks like he's getting the big stuff done, but in the meantime, he's doing things like a boss. And then they're going on about how Melania Trump looked like a boss's wife in that outfit and how he's doing things. Everything that he's doing is is not so much done for the small person, and it's also going to affect the small person. And I said this a long time ago. A lot of people that are going to benefit are going to be the rich. Everybody that's above a certain guideline, you know, a certain amount of money that they have, they're the biggest ones that are going to. It's going to be the middle class to poor that's going to suffer still all the way through. So now I do believe he'll pull a few things where it'll look like he's actually doing something, but I get that he's doing a lot of things to save money in the government, and then do what with the money in the government? What are you going to turn around and do? And it's who knows, guys. But yeah, we shall see. And then there was that guy that had a channel that was doing a podcast that I seen also yesterday or this morning. It's kind of hard to vary in the last 24 hours. And he said that they just need to get rid of Social Security for sure. And that's a plan up and coming to just get rid of it to save money. And I'm like, how are you figuring? And then they were talking about that they're just going to stop having people pay into it and they're just going to phase out the people. But then I start going through that whole thing of, why aren't you phasing out the ones that never worked their entire life, or the kids born into disabilities that were getting paychecks and everything? And why aren't there some phasing out, even up to the point of taking away my working disability? That way, the elder people that earn their Social Security can have their checks. I'll make my way. You'll catch me out there in a tent eating grass and stuff, you know, before I falter. But I think that my biggest concern has been for the elder baby boomer generation. They're saying 50% of people, when it comes to pensions on retirement, are relying on Social Security. I was like, hell yeah, I think it's probably bigger than that. So, Sarah, yes. So sorry, Victoria. Before any expat decides to build a house, do your comparison rent versus building. Most definitely. How much will it cost you to build versus the equivalent number of rental you are paying? Do your spreadsheet. 100% Ruby. I agree with you on that because you have to figure that in. And the only reason we would is if one of our 4 kids would come over here, or grandchildren would come over here to live in our place afterwards. Then we have to go on. There's a bunch of family that George has, but they all have their own places. And so there's even a family compound, everything, you know, so it just wouldn't, if I pass away first, which is not going to happen, even with all my medical conditions, my guess is George will, for multiple reasons, and some of his medical conditions, family history and everything. So it would be nice that I wouldn't have to pay rent. And let's say, like we said, it'll either come from George working or extra money from the YouTube and just saving and really working, which I do not see that happening. I can't see us getting a viral video like Old Dog or some of these other people, or like Q's Adventure, and all of a sudden we get 10 grand for a video or something. It's not going to happen. We were just meant here to spread the good word, you know? And so that would be the only possibility. Now, never say never. Might buy a lottery ticket, or somebody wins a lottery and sends us money. Who knows? But in a case like that, then I can't see getting a house, in case George, passes, or me. That way we don't really have to worry about it. And we're still 11 years before George can get his Social Security that he earned. And that's even if the system is around. It could be down by 20, 30% of the amount he was supposed to get. So who actually knows? Thank you so much, Piney. How much is full coverage car insurance on a 10K car? Okay. Here on car insurance, it's going to vary. So I could not even tell you on that, because currently the car that we have is still being covered by his brother. Insurance is really dirt cheap, and it's not going to be base. It's not going to be like the United States. So a 10K car, how much the car costs a year, that makes a difference. But then again, I'm not aware that it does. Insurance is really cheap. I can tell you that. But thank you for the sticker. It helps quite a bit. But yes, definitely, Ruby. Renting is the way to go. Yeah, but that's just me. I think it is. I did a video on Expat discussing that I felt rentals was the better thing. And also, if we build something, it's so permanent. Do you know how many people as expats have built and they don't want to be in that area all of a sudden, or things change? It's very true. You have to make sure you are where you want to be. And we seen another guy a couple years ago during the pandemic. He built a house so close to the water and didn't look into anything or nothing, and just like paid construction people to do it. And then he found out that, oh, I'm having internet problems and I'm having water problems, and there's nothing of this and that in the next town over. And I'm like, he didn't do his homework. So to me, it might have been a person. There's two different types. Talk about the haves and have nots. You got the people like him. He looked like he had some money. And some of those people aren't, like, some are not the working class people. Like when you're working class and you've been saving hundreds of thousands of dollars to come make your move here, and you made plans, you're a little bit harder on where you're going to spend your money. If they inherited it, or was just had a cumulative wealth in their entire family, and they were trust fund babies or had the silver spoon from birth, then those people are a little bit more freer just to throw that money around. And so he probably didn't look into that and just assumed, my God, look at the view. That's what I really want. He was not really thinking when everything went wrong with that place, guys. So, and you guys can get offended all you want on that statement. That's true. When it's your hard earned money, you really do think twice about it. And the one thing that upsets me on about every 2 to 3 day basis here is people assume that I should just spend the money, and they've actually, like, if I tell them like no, or I tell George, hey, there's no way we're paying that. I said, you do realize they're charging because it's the both of us, and it's just not. It's very obvious when it happens. It's because they think all expats are super rich. And are we rich compared to some others? Yes, but on an expat level, we're not. And back home, we were just middle class, and we shouldn't have to pay more because we're foreign and George looks foreign. That's George getting me double taxed and roped off on a daily basis. I say, do you mind putting on a wife beater shirt and putting on some flip flops before you go buy those bananas the next time? Victoria, wishing you strength to overcome your challenge in front of you. Yeah. I'm not sure who ASI. Did she apply for citizenship yet? Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I think that's an abbreviation. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe you meant Chrissy. I'm not sure. I'd rather buy Bitcoin than invest in a house. Yeah. Unless you have like three, four kids and worried about the price, and especially with the real estate market going bust here and everything, there's so much actually going on. I would, it's something I just couldn't see at this point unless like I really wanted the land. Like today I started to look at that other channel, that Philippine Life. He had mentioned getting land and starting a farm and all that. Now he officially is being given rent-free land for a year so he can grow his own crops and vegetables. And I don't think he has any idea what that's going to take or the amount of labor. But here's the thing, even he admits the out of stock thing and the prices of vegetables is just out of this world right now. And he's trying to run a restaurant. So he's going to greenhouse this land, which is going to cost. He's lucky. He's been here 3, 4 years, maybe, and he's already got investors that are helping with the restaurant. And he's totally done a 180 on his life and doing something totally different. Got a step family, and he's going through all these different changes. And now he wants to start, doing a greenhouse vegetable thing, and he's starting something in a country he's not even quite sure of how it's going to work, but he just wants to start doing it, and I wish him luck on that. But even with free rent for a year, I can't imagine that much business because, as I'm to understand, on average the lots are 10,000 pesos, 15. So you're paying $200 or $300 to have land to grow the vegetables, and they're not. It's not very big. He does realize it takes a lot. What is it per square meter, per person, per items? And he says he's going to grow them upwards, and that's fine too. But how much can he actually do on the lot of land? I don't know. And in another year, he's going to have to pay the rent. And then versus he's got a smaller restaurant. It's not like he's got three restaurants that he's providing it for you. I don't know. Is he, like me, it's like all these things are calculating in my head, but we'll be watching. Just rent, right? Just rent. Change more back to Fort Benning. What a slap in the face for millions that went through there. Yeah. Yeah, all the name changes. Who does that? Just each president went through and did that. I'm not really familiar enough. I know that I don't get why they changed the names either. Hey, Victor, if you have the financial resources, just looking at the time, deliveries at 12. The financial resource invest to have passive income to sustain your supplemental, your pension to live comfortably. Yeah, yeah. For me and George, that just was never going to be possible. We had done something like that early on in our life, and then we've used the money up since. And there is a limit to doing that on that Ruby. So if you've already spent up X amount, yes, you can start saving all the time. And we're doing it now. We kind of just wish we'd have started about 6 years ago, but it always feels like that just as we start to get ahead, other things are coming up. So, but I get it. It's the responsible thing to do 100%. How to verify on here. Are you talking about on here? Well, first off, we talk to people through Messenger, and we've known a lot of our same viewers for a while, like Ruby. We would know Ruby if Ruby wanted to come on. We've known her for quite some time. We've met with her in person. That's how. And we're aware that trolls can become members and then letting them in and then something, it's because of past guests that have acted fools, and we do not open up random panels to let people just sit around and do whatever. So, and that tends to be some of those live streams run amok, and we're not talking about just here, we're talking about Thailand, United States and all that. So when I say that somebody has to be verified or vetted, it's usually because they've been long-term members. It's got to be all the checks have to check off. Like a lot of the same people have done support of the channel financially. Our birthdays come up. We're not saying people have to pay their way on either. They've just verified in many ways. We can see their personal email when they send us PayPal, that type. It's not worth it for me to bring on a strange guest to come in and say F this and F that, or to talk about lesbians and F that and F that like they've done in the past live streams or try to scream out stupid shit. So it's kind of, but it seems like you're a new person. I think you've been on here before, like in our live stream, but that would be the reason. That way it's explained why. And that's why a lot of people don't do live streams and let people on the panel. So the higher we get, the more they're going to come at us. So, and I'm just not going to, unfortunately, yeah. And here's another thing. You don't even have a photo on your, so I would have to like know who you actually are. So that would be how. And you would have to show your face on our live stream and everything else. And it'd have to be an open panel, which we rarely do anymore anyways. Yeah, Whoop the puppy was there. Yeah, she's very nice. Right? I hear what? Tomorrow. My Chinese New Year's coming. Happy Lunar Year, the year of the rat. Year of the rat. Down, 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 down. Yes, most definitely, Ruby. An example, if you spend 100,000 to buy the land and build a house in the Philippines, that's equivalent to 550 a month. Yeah, rental plus 16 years. Yeah. Oh, have they? Since 7 a.m. I'm sure we'll be hearing. I'm surprised. Although our neighbors, like two of them, were out till midnight, 1 o'clock. I had to finally put on a noise machine. Speaking of which, I had to go through because I couldn't deal anymore. Like you could hear their kids outside after midnight, several small kids just running up and down the street, and I get it. Life is active here; can't stop that. But it's really hard for people, the Westerners that are used to, you know, I can't say how do I want to put this? You can't say that things don't happen, but it would have never happened in the neighborhoods that we were living in back in the United States. And back in Mexico, it didn't happen like that. People had their kids in the house by, and I'm not saying it was a dangerous area. We lived in the mountainous area and the kids weren't out at 10, 11 o'clock at night. Here, for some reason, they tend to just wander everywhere. It's just like, it's kind of crazy. So I had to put a noise machine. George can sleep through everything. I'm going to tell you that right now. It doesn't matter. Like he can't hear the live stream, and no, it doesn't matter. There can be full construction going on, and it doesn't affect him at all. Social Security will never go away. Left used it to get votes. I think if I'm going by what's out on the internet and watching, like, there's a guy that has a YouTube channel. It's pretty legit that claims he had worked in the Social Security offices, that he's an attorney, like the whole 9 yards. He goes through all this stuff, and he's got a really big channel. He goes through and discuss the different things with Social Security. He says they're talking about reducing it to down, I think they said 30%. And then I think after that, they said after a few years, it'll go back to just 20%. Like they'll go like deep at first and then they'll bring something, but they're not going to totally cut it. What is that the year? 2031, 2032? And, but I'm wondering why they're giving out. I mean, I know it sounds cold, but why they're still doing for the super low income or no income people that never worked, or I'm not talking about the ones that didn't pay in. We're talking about that didn't at all, never worked at all. And then the other ones are the born children to Social Security. And there's a lot of them, and you would think, but I don't think that's going to be enough to even help. If they would just cut another one of these stupid programs and just dump some money into it, or can they not? I don't know. Can they not take part of that and put it into some sort of investment if they're so hip about AI and these coins that could make money? And I don't know why George says they're calling, or it's the what is the investment in the certificates or something? He said that's what that is. So, I don't know. Yeah, it should make a difference on the year and the model. Paid about 12.5 thousand on mine. So that would be, what's that, about 300 pace or 300 US dollars. So 10, so it's like $28. 30 times 10 would be $333 a month. I said really cheap. It can be very cheap. So yeah, it's just already still included in George's car that he got from his brother. Yep, never say never. And then next thing you know, it's like I'm looking like old Paul. Don't build no house in the Philippines. Today on my show, I'll be talking about how to build a house. Let's go. Hi, I'm Paul in the Philippines, and I'll be building a house along with my little lady. Uh, no, I mean he's seen all the pitfalls over the last couple years, you know. Let me clarify, renting month to month is the way to go. I never leased in the Philippines. I like to be able to leave at any given moment. That's where I think I'm at. I lived almost 10 years in an apartment in the United States, was the longest I ever lived. And we spent a few years at the other place. And we've been here now over 2 years. It's hard to believe it's been 2 years since we had to move. And we've been here. And the only thing the biggest problem I have here is the noise. Like it just seems like it's noisy no matter what. And I can get past that. What I can't get past is the extensive burning all the time. We must be really nearby. I know there are fields, like if we go this way and then you go down a few streets, there's like, we've showed it to you before where there's like a resort and that there's like a field and you can see the water buffaloes out there, but somewhere there was a factory or something burning something. I've constantly got burning in my nose, throat. It's starting up right now. And so, yeah, you have the ability to move. The next place has to be further out. And then George is like, well, if we go further out, then, if you're wanting to have something delivered or we want to go somewhere, there's a lot more to deal with. And I'm like, okay. And it seems like a good thing. And we have air cleaners in here and everything. We just ordered another one, but I don't think it's going to help. And we've got the windows double sealed off and I can still smell it. Maybe it's coming through the doors, maybe through the AC, through the aircon. I don't know. But it's like always being by a campfire. And it's not good. The clean air here in the Philippines can be a problem depending on where you're at. So Paul could be lying about the whole thing just to get clicks. I doubt it. He's been showing this, and the construction's still not done. So if you'd follow Paul way from the beginning, you'll see how long it's been. Why isn't it done? Also, there are about 6 other guys and way more other people this is happening to. So no, the answer is no. So if I was just randomly covering Paul, then I would just say, hey, this is Paul saying it's only happening. No, several of them. And then you got that blogger with the 500,000 that has the Polish husband, and the guy was supposed to be building a resort and nothing. So it's not complete. And I don't even have the strength. First off, she speaks mostly Tagalog on her channel, so it'd be hard to even figure that out. George doesn't have a few hours to sit around and listen to her story. So it happened to her too. There's another person. So all of this cannot be a coincidence that this is happening. But the response, I put a link in there in the description where you can go listen to the AI voice, which seems real legit, that he goes through and explains his side of what's happened and how the permits and the deposits and money into his account. And I'm like, but it was kind of like all over the place. So that would be up to you guys. So no, you have to admit that a lot of YouTubers do this clickbait stuff just to get you in, and there's a story to it, but this is not one of them. That I can say. Now he is being very quiet on saying the people's name, but he already did. He already said it early on his Facebook. He's avoiding saying it for whatever reason that he's saying. He's saying that he feels that's what the guy will do to him, but I just think he's just, he's playing it safe. He's been through a lot of stuff because BLM said they were named after Confederate soldiers. All statues were torn down too. Yeah, I mean, the funniest meme I've seen yet, and you guys can be like, "Oh, boo hiss." Somebody was like, with all this going on, can we bring back the Uncle Ben and the Aunt Jemima boxes again or something?" And I'm like, "Amen to that, brother." It's like whoever sees all that negativity and they can't laugh at it, like George Carlin or Eddie Murphy or Robin Williams, they can go F themselves somewhere because I'm getting so tired of the woke generation of this and that. And they just don't get it situation. But yeah, all this tearing down and the what this means and that means and statues and it's hey Sarah. Yes. You're coming in an hour and a half afterwards. Yes. We bought property near Butuan with my sister and yeah, Kuja. Hiring a contractor to build the fence. We paid weekly after Christmas is the best time to hire. Everyone is broke and needs the money badly. Ooh, that makes sense. Yeah, you have to watch when, and it's like the United States. Anything can go south, but here it's yeah, it's just kind of like where it is and stuff. Yes, I've seen that they want to raise the age of Social Security. They're claiming they're going to keep it there. They might to try to save money, and it'll further off put people. Um, I will say, and it's one of the videos I want to cover, is that we've always said this: you guys should retire as soon as you can because it really cuts into your time period of being able to collect your Social Security plus your pension and like be able to get out there and do things or rest or just because I what is the average 7, 8, 9 years you live after retirement if you start at what is it 67. You guys should just live now. You can't put a price on any of that happiness or extra time and it's sad to see some people only 3 years outside of their full retirement and then they pass away or something. Cane fields are always burnt after cutting. This is trash. There is no proper sanitation in Angel City. It's not like Manila, and even Manila has its issues. Been there, done that in Manila. And here it's even worse. Like there's trash at the side of the streets, and that I get. This is not cane fields. This is something really heavy duty. This smells like a full building on fire constantly, rubber and plastic and chemical, and it's been worse than ever. And so, and then I thought about the exhaust. We have two exhaust fans in the house, but I believe that'll draw the AC out of here. So I don't know. I really don't. I really don't know. But I'm just like I don't even know how the neighbors deal with it. We run 24/7 AC down here with the air filter here. I couldn't imagine being uh, both neighbors. They have AC units in there like upstairs, like for their bedroom, but not their house. So their windows and doors are open all the time. I could not imagine that. But so it's just because I guess they're used to it, and then I'm just not used to it adjusting. Saw Paul in Baby May's last trip to Dumaguete. Surprise, he is Filipino height. He's not a tall guy. Hey, Truth Serum, good morning. Woke is broke. So yeah, I mean it's pretty much like destroying history. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I get all that. Government was always borrowing from Social Security funds. I had no idea because they were saying that was a total different situation. That is that is for sure. Yeah, they really need to. They really need to do something on the Social Security funds, but it needs to be there for the elder people that have paid into it. Again, take away all the disability, take away disability from the young ones that are born into it, and see how it actually goes and everything. So, my cookie bear. So maybe there is a dump site near. Maybe, but they're not supposed to be burning. Dump sites are not meant to be burned. I think there are people in the neighborhood burning too. So although it's a subdivision, it's weird. There's like this is a set of townhouse condo looking things. There's just like six of them connected. There's a big house that's owned by a government guy. And then there's all these individual apartment buildings in the subdivision. And all of a sudden, if you go at the end of the street, somebody built what looks like without a permit, like a concrete just slab. It's really weird. Looks like the Flintstone house put together. So I don't see where the permits are in this subdivision. They used to keep the gates closed and now they don't. And so it's just like totally open. And um, I think it's just people also in the neighborhood burning. Like they used to burn across the street. Remember, like 2 years ago when we first got here, I used to complain that because they would burn across the street and our doors were wide open. Poor Willie outside, there was literal smoke in his face. And so it's kind of crazy on that. I'm getting ready to order some Taco Bell. Everybody is so jealous of me. Yeah, that would be nice to get like a what there was it called Chilitos? It's the one where it was mostly just cheese and the grinded up meat that was taco meat. That sounds good. I've got the taco shells. What I do though, you guys are gonna hate me on this one. I use the soy meat. They use a lot of soy meat as meat here, as far as taco meats. They do across the street at one of our favorite places, except for they put a lot of oil in that one. It's about the people are living longer, so there's a strain on Social Security funds, reasons why they want to delay taking it. Gotcha. Yeah, that is the other reason, that's for sure. Being a kid now sucks compared to the 70s and 80s. I would agree and disagree. There's a lot going on. I think the kids these days take the easy way out. They really do. They're lazier. They're very sensitive to everything. They're all built on social media and living through social media. They do go through other sets of issues. Like, I wouldn't want to be where I'm looking at all these fake models that, or the ones that put thousands of US dollars, and you're seeing the, again, I'll mention the have and have nots, because that's depressing. And if they're on the internet too long, that's causing depression and all of that. But I think the net has not helped. And so, yes, it does. And I'm glad for sure that I was raised back then in the 70s, 80s, and then raised a family in the 90s. I can't see, um, our daughter is talking about having another baby. And I'm like, yeah, I've been thinking about that. And it's just like, there'll be a almost 11-year, 10-year gap between the kids. And then I'm thinking in this day and age with the cost and everything, but I get her want to have more kids too. We will build on the new property, but still, I will never bring more money here than I cannot walk away from. Yeah, if we had the money to walk away, I don't think Paul really had that money to walk away. The only reason he did was because of his YouTube channel. Some of those videos paid him extensive. And I cheer him on for making videos that bring in that kind of money, no matter how he did it. As long as he wasn't hurting anybody and he wasn't doing like Q's Adventure where you're exposing. And we're talking real exposure. Don't use Paul for whatever reason. We're talking about like real exposure, like I'm hearing a lot more stuff about Q's Adventure. No, he did an interview of an American that was broke down and a couple others that have made him good paychecks. He's been in the game for a long time. He helps a lot of people and he deservedly does. Now, can he really walk away from that money? I don't think Paul at under 2,000 a month in Social Security is exactly screaming with money. We've seen the places he lived in the beginning, his careers and all of that. He's just an average, everyday American, an expat living here. So that had to pinch. But that's what I'm saying is if we had even the money that we did in the beginning when we first got here to walk away from that 10,000 or 15,000 wouldn't have been so bad. But if I'm taking 15 out of the money we had here, it's still bad enough. So we just male, yeah, the 76 on life expectancy. It's way lower here. Although a lot of people claim that they get healthy when they get here, it can be short lived too. There's a lot to deal with. Every time I sit here during the lives, I think about these other videos that I should be recording. I might record a few more today. Look. I'll do a life expectancy video on the other. And I'll probably just start taking other topics that we did a while back and redo them. Because there's other things that'll get you here in the Philippines that shorten it. So maybe in the US. Could be here. What you talking about, Sarah? Hello, it's me. Ooh, I think about you. Just for you guys' information, besides our membership, which you should be a member, don't forget about that, where there's other content that we put out. We do have a playlist of music that we have out that's our wake up music in the morning. And it's under playlist and it's got everything. It's got a mix of everything. The wake up, get up and go. It's got music from the 70s, 80s, current. So it's a really good jam list. It's George and Heidi approved. Probably approved for a lot of people. No, it's me. Kids need to drink hot water from the garden hose, right? That was actually a good taste. You just brought back like a memory. Like I lived in an apartment complex as a small kid, and my mom at like our birthday, she would like buy one of those swimming pools that had some of the sand in the bottom, and we'd sit out there all day, like 8 in the morning till like 8 at night, and that was late. If our mom let us out when it started to get dark and we were in the backyard, that was pretty cool. And yeah, you would have that hose out there all day and you could just drink from it. And it had this chlorine, it had a certain taste to it. And it was like you could drink out of that all day. And sometimes we would never come home. Like we would go through, we had this fence that was around each of the places. Our place was like a condo, kind of like it is here. They're stacked, got upstairs, downstairs. And it had a fence around the backside and we wouldn't dare come in the house. Like my mom was in there watching all my children and stuff, and we'd come through our back gate into the house. It was all separate. We all had our own little area and stuff. It's like, don't bother mom, or she's gonna make us come in and do something or do dishes, or don't want to upset her where she says, "Hey, stay in for the day" or whatever. So we'd sneak in the back and drink out of the hose all the time. So, and that was in Ohio. Good memories. Their Taco Bell uses worm meal additives in their meat base. Is it also soy, isn't it? Or do they just add the meat in? But I wouldn't doubt it. Worm meal is not always such a bad thing. So kids have to put phones in wall lockers now where I live. Phones in class lowers IQ. I agree. I think it's really bad that they're letting the kids have the phones in there. I get that they're needed for some things, but I would have to agree to that. Although I'd probably be having a fit too. Like when me and George have our date night every week, we do that. We set the phones totally aside when we're doing the board games or movies, and it's really hard for me because I'm like ADHD and my span of attention is really short with anxiety, and it's like I'm really bored in this movie, and I'm like really wanting to look something up because I'm always reading the news or doing something. So I get it. That would really probably drive me nuts, but I think the new generation, this last one, are they millennials or whatever? I don't even know their generation, but yes, I would agree. They said they'd rather use AI than that. And I'm not saying that's where it's created. AI has been around for a while, but they're going to need it for this last generation. Go check out SNL, The Last Set, and go into their playlist. And it has a Timothy Chalamet that played Bob Dylan in a recent movie, and they did an AI thing, and it was exactly spot on. Like, they were showing AI videos to a classroom, and I'm like, oh my God, that is AI. And basically, AI is currently trying to teach itself, and sometimes it talks on the stuff that it already doesn't know, and it's still in the form. In another 10 years, it'll improve, and there's a lot of good about it, but it has good information, misinformation. It's hilarious. You guys ought to check that one out. I trust my wife, but government can change quickly. Yeah. Kids are the future. Let them do their things. We are relics, right? Most of us use payphones. Yeah, I was just thinking about that, the payphone thing. I'm like, no. Um, our kids are as young as 21 to 36, and the ones in their mid 30s right now, we have three of them in their mid 30s. They'll barely remember a payphone. The one here might. Was there payphones here ever? Like literal payphones, guys? Can you tell me that you're in the Philippines? I didn't even ask George about that. So, in saying that about payphones, they won't know, or like the struggles that we did go through, or the fun that we did have that we could go through. And I wish I'd have had more than just an encyclopedia to go through to get stuff to study and know things and learn things. And I was sitting there thinking that if like travel and stuff, if somebody talked about something in India and the Taj Mahal in the 70s and 80s, you'd have had to been there. Or like I started to watch that Bob Dylan movie, and I'm like, wait a minute. In order to know something, like he was asking around town and looking for a specific bar, I believe. And if he would have went there to play or to listen to a specific musician, you had to physically go there, let's say to New York, and look for that club that had a jazz singer and all that. That's the kind of stuff that I miss. Now there's a new singer coming out every 1 minute, or a new vlogger that's doing this every minute. And there's so much abundance of this stuff going on. Hold on. Ugh. Oh, sorry, guys. So it's just a new generation, and I think we're behind. I don't think we're progressing. I truly believe we're so far behind, and all the countries are far behind. They just announced that the U.S. was above China on AI, and then they turn around and just said, "Oh, the new Chinese app is now ahead." And I'm like, "Oh, come on, guys! You're always going to proclaim something. We're just far behind. We're everywhere, everywhere." Um, yeah, I'm not going to mention the guy that said here he had everything going on, including underground wires and everything. And I'm like, I'm not even aware that they're maybe at a condo they can do all that. Like, I can't I can't even imagine that every single wire would be buried somewhere here in the Philippines. Like, you will see the electrical wiring, the cable, everything is above ground in most places. This guy claimed that his condo had all the above. It was super fancy and all this. I'm thinking, I wonder where that is, where you wouldn't see that. But I haven't been everywhere. It's kind of like the United States. And now, last I looked at that on Saturday, George was with me for the live stream, and then he's out doing the car today. Um, is that the earlier I mentioned he was asleep, but he's not. He's out doing the car. So, um, no, on Saturday, no updates. We were starting to go through the updates, and then we started doing mostly a Q&A on Saturday. But once a story, unless somebody says, hey, this is going on, or I fall upon it where it comes into my feed, then usually a lot of that, I check on our 20 people and see if there's anything going on, but nothing that I know of. It's a really sad situation. So many different people have feelings in both ways. So Yeah, because once it's sat in the heat and stuff, everything comes out here in hot water. Uh, I have to wait for a while before I water like the plants outside and put the dog water and the cat waters outside. There is no way any US admin will ever reduce the SSA pension payments to 85% or anything. If they can come up with 4 trillion new deal, that they can come up with the truck. That's what I was thinking. You would think there would be some sort of riot. Um, Anything's possible, but that's what George said. He said they just, you see all these little people like zombies attacking the White House and stuff. I mean, that's what I just covered on Expat, the second channel, is that there's a lot of people starting to choose to live out of their cars versus all of a sudden just being thrown out over rent. Or they're choosing, and this has been like this for a while, 70s, 80s, 90s. People have not been able to survive on Social Security. You have to supplement it or have the two checks, but then their spouses, pass away and you only get a percentage of that absorbed. I think my dad initially thought he was going to get both checks, and then he realized it was a difference between both checks. So um, I think my stepmother's check, being she worked in a pharmacy, the difference was $200. Then my dad's, he got the 200 added on. He didn't get a double check. He got the $200 difference, and that was many years ago. So I don't know if that's what they do. Um, so it would be nice to have Georgia's Social Security, but that's still ways off. He was 28 years working in the United States. So, and yeah, he would still qualify. We all know Green Deal went right into corrupt pockets. David Campbell, the Campbell Channel. He went back to the United States. He went back there like a year ago, and it's an expat that has a Filipino wife that lives nearby Angeles City and lives kind of out in the province. And he went back again, and there was an issue. And I knew he had some severe medical issues. That's probably why he went back, and now he has to be amputated. So very, very sad. So just realize that here in the Philippines, if you call a landline number on your mobile, it costs, yes. And that's something else I need to do is utilities and phone. I haven't done because just recently we've been having to manually go out and pay our electric bill. I found another company that I can finally do it online, and it's a game changer. Why? Because you have to, if we go to the electric company, we could be there for 3 hours just to pay an electric bill. It's how slow it is and how many employees are there. And I'm like, no way. And so it's a real manual thing. And I'm thinking, George, what do we do in another 10, 15 years if they're still doing that? Surely there's got to be somewhere to pay online. And there are some that you can pay depending on where you are, but we just got it paid online. But yes, when you make a landline, it's weird. They don't have something that does all. Like our service shows that we have cell phone to cell phone, but here's the thing. On the cell phone, if there is a globe in over in like another area, I'm pretty sure we're being charged for that too. I tried to call somebody's cell phone in another area and I'm pretty sure it charges for that too. So I don't think it's just landline. So I'll go through some of that and do utilities and phone and everything. Hey, good morning, Discerning Dash. Appreciate it. Heidi, it isn't worth it for my wife to live in the US with me to get my Social Security because I won't be there when I retire. Plus, I can have her have an SSA in pesos in the Philippines. We 4 years apart and we are under 30. Gotcha. Yeah, it might be. You're really young. Now would be the time, though. I can have her have a SSA in pesos in the Philippines. Are you talking about her getting a retirement check from the Philippines? Because that's really a low amount. I mean, even the best government jobs are low accounts. So Frito Bandito. I'm the Frito Bandito. You know what? I miss kind of like Frito pie and stuff. Still a lot of salt. That's what's getting me more than the sugar is the I'm laughing because I tried to hypnotize myself the other day. I think it worked. So um that's a whole nother live stream. But yeah, no, the salt is just killing me now. It's like it doesn't matter. Like every time I eat it, my legs swell up, my limbs, everything hurts even more than eating sugar. And then I watched this one live stream or a vid, not live stream, but a show, a podcast where they did hypnotizing so you'd forget about sugar. It all went back to childhood that you couldn't have it and all of that. And I was like, okay, I buy that. I just like sugar. It's like soon as I busted out of my parents' house, I was like eating anything sugar and junk food because I didn't have that much like fast food when I was a kid and only got sugar during the holidays. So as soon as I got out there, I was like, I'm just going to eat whipped cream in a can and cereal and McDonald's all the time. And so, yeah, they were just saying you could hypnotize yourself to forget that you really needed sugar and all that. I'm like, yeah. So I tried it and I don't know. Here I am. It's like you're not going to want it. Yeah, here it is. No, I guess you got to be a willing participant. Mhm. I did watch that on your channel. Yeah, like I said, there's a whole list of. Let me take a look who's in the circle, the trusted circle of friends, real quick before I wrap this live stream. Wow. I'm staring right now. U.S. military reinforces barriers now at the Mexico at the wall. It's showing that they're putting razor wire up all over the border right now. It shows all the soldiers out there. You get them, Butch. I think a lot of people are agreeing with that. They're like tariffs over, like, I can't say the other word, tariffs over what they're now saying that they would be considered and what that falls under, right? The wording. And they're like, would you rather be safe at night or pay $24 for a coffee? And of course, the rich people are like, I'll pay $24 for the coffee. And the poor people are like, yeah, I'll just do without coffee and go to tea. And I'm like, oh, hell nah, you know? But yeah, I just opened this up to look at who's on our list. And oh, hey, at least he's being honest. Somebody else's blog came up. It says the proceeds from this blog will be used to buy beer. By the way, guys, if you guys send stickers, I'm just going to buy cat food and beer. Put it towards George's funeral funds. That's a real thing, by the way. You guys think I'm joking? He's the one that's going to go first. Let's see. There it is. And of course, as a vlogger, if you guys are vlogging, then you'll know that there is a group. Some of you don't know how to find it, but there's like it can tell me who, not specifically like, okay, chosen one, watch this video today. I'm sure it's coming up, but of course, it shows most of you watch Geo in the Philippines, Paul, Sunshine, Mike's Philippine retirement, which is a whole different story. Maya, of course, there's some simping out there. Dexel and Jim. Now, I want to let you guys know that if it shows like Dexel and Jim, some of you probably watch because of his drama, and then it kind of lags. So if there's a heavy story going on in Dexel, this will show up for about 3 months. So he'll probably drop off when his drama stops. I still never got around to Dexel and Jim because there was so much going on, and now he's living in the United States. I'd rather cover this German woman next. Chad Foster, that Philippine life. Of course, Brian, Philly in the Philippines, and there's the Campbells. Overstay Road. And of course, my favorite, but he's changed his channel's name, and I'm not even going to mention two of these others. I don't have to approve of any of them, and ain't going to do no shout outs for these additional ones, that's for sure. And there's one I'm really shocked. Philippines Through the Life of an Expat. The only reason he came up really quick in the rankings was because of his young wife, and he got into the drama. I can't handle his camera and his the way he talks. Just going to be honest. And so, yeah. Anyways, our phone landline only works on our island. Yeah, that's like ours. We get one with the cable, or I call it the cable, the internet, and I can only call X amount, and there is no call waiting on the line or nothing. So it's only within the small city area for that part of it. But yeah, when you call to a landline, yes, I have to load money. And the other day, I didn't have anything sitting in Gcash, and it was the only account connected to our Globe account. So I could not even call immigration in the next city over because it was a landline. And so it's like from landline to landline, it wasn't going through. It was ringing busy. And I'm like, what the heck? It was kind of messed up. What I meant what I meant is having her start a savings account and contribute every month or so. Because of us being young, she has time to save. Yeah, but in the future, in another 30 years, the costs are really going up here in the Philippines. You have to decide if the cost versus all of that. And we get that Filipinos want to return home. And that's what's going on with like George's family. Eventually, his sister and everything will return back here, as we're to understand, and other family members. And yeah, it's way cheaper here, but it's starting to come up, guys. And the day that I have to pay a good fraction of my income to still live here with an infrastructure problem, I'm out. I'm sorry. I'll pack Georgia up and we'll go back to Mexico, and I'll join one of those little groups over there before. I'm sorry. I'm about it being inexpensive to go along with the infrastructure, and this may offend some people, but there has to be, for me, some sort of balance of, yeah, okay, I've got this problem, that problem, and this problem. Okay, but my rent's cheap. Okay, I can do this and that. But people get crazy out there. Like these Filipinos and expats are starting to charge something crazy for services. I mean, I couldn't believe I was looking at the Kasambahay, like a house person to come in every now and then, and they were talking about live-ins and live-outs. That's another thing I need to cover. Maids again, because they're starting to ask something crazy. Like one woman's like, "Oh, I only want to work 2 or 3 hours a day. Must be paid 700-800 pesos a day, and I only want to work part time." And she's giving like these astronomical prices with no experience. And I'm like, "Well, wait a minute." But just over in the next city, a full day at 10 hours is getting paid 400 a day. And that's taking care of a kid. So it just kind of varies, but like a lot of these guys are charging a lot more for their employment rates, and they deserve to be paid more. There's no doubt in my mind. But when minimum wage is at 500, and I think they said 12 pesos a day, which is about $9 a day, and then they're wanting to be paid several hundred pesos over that with no experience and haven't been vetted in their job. They just want to call themselves a professional, like the dog groomers here. Like there's a million dog groomers, but these people don't have like any experience. They're just calling themselves a dog groomer and they want to be paid that. So people are charging way more for their services, not everywhere, but so when all of this starts disappearing, and in that time frame it could, you're going to need to save a lot more money. So just understand that is what I was trying to get to. I hypnotize myself. No one believes me. They think I'm sleeping. Chosen one, you're up, right? And I was like doing it and listening, and the woman's doing this and stuff, and she's like, you'll no longer want the sugar because you don't have to have that sugar, and you're no longer that kid. And I'm like, but I like sugar. So I guess I was already telling myself, and it's not me being negative, and I know you can be hypnotized if it's, but I'm also doing it that way. And of course, they mentioned that person's name, so my name wasn't in there, and I was like trying to hypnotize. What am I trying to hypnotize myself on YouTube today? You guys, I'm hypnotizing you. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Join our membership. Send me stickers for George's funeral fund. Hey, maybe I should just carry a camera around with me so you guys can see my day, so I can show you doing my dishes, and then you guys can send me a stickers. Hey, Tina? You okay, Tina? Tina, what's wrong with you? Oh, what's wrong with you? The cat. Tweety is. I call her Tina because um, Bob's Burger. Because Tina has glasses on, but we have the cat with the one eye. She's got one eye that's bad. You say hi. Say you can see where the other one's turning in. Say hi, Tina. What's wrong? See, look, you watching TV. See that's you. I know that's you down there. She's looking at the tablet. Look up here. Look, Tweet. Here. You want to see? Huh? You want to talk on the mic? Huh? Maybe that's why I get all itchy. Because I put you near the mic and then I'm near the mic. So yeah, I got to hypnotize. Right? Who remembers the California raisins? Right? Heard it through the grapevine. Yeah, when they used to do all the California raisins. They used to do a lot of promotions for milk and all these other things, and I didn't realize how much the industry was supported by everything else. I miss those days when the internet didn't ruin life and you could have just been that much more, innocent about things. You'd have had to read it in a newspaper, and I would have only been a month apart to look at one article about something. Now, if something happens, I was saying that the other day, like up to the moment things change. So it's like, oh, she's lying about that. And sometimes it's not intentional, or there's so much misinformation out there. It's just crazy. Oh, this is so cool. Finally, I see a female expat in the Philippines sharing her views. Interesting. Good morning, Lena. I've been here for 4 years, and that's what the other channel is going to kind of be about, because I told George, why just leave the pet channel? Because it used to be the pet channel, and then we used it for something else. And I'm like, I might as well do more on my own with George working and us doing like separate things these days and some of the different shifts. We might as well. It's if it helps somebody, or if you guys even think before you do something, that's what the channel is for. And I'm going to start dropping more things based on my views. And then, of course, George will join and going places. We're supposed to go do a pizza place here in about a week. And that's if there's no traffic. Like we went out and we were supposed to go to a restaurant the other day and we got all the way down there, another barbecue place that was online, and there was no parking, zero parking. So you're like driving like in New York. You just have to keep driving around the block situation. But welcome, Lena. AT&T charged $10 a day for phone there and had to climb a hill to get service. Yeah, some of them actually do, right? Female expat got me here too. Well, welcome. Yeah. And that was our ideal for the channel, is just me as a female expat. But when I got here 4 years ago, nobody really wanted to hear. They kind of still don't, for two reasons. One, I'm just going to be loud about it. And the other is I'm a female expat. So I'm what reminds some of these guys of what they claim they've been through and all their drama and traumatic crap. And it's like, just be about it and own it, guys. I've had my trauma with American men, but I don't go around and say, yeah, it's their fault. And that's why I'm here. That's why I married George. You guys have never heard me go through that's why I married an Asian man, because you guys just couldn't cut it. That kind of thing. But they're using, you got to realize it is for YouTube. And so it needs to, this is my year. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the year for Philippine Antics and Expatainment to actually grow, based on people are tired of one reality of living abroad and then dealing as a female expat. I would still do this all over again. If it was me, I'd probably take a little bit of a different approach. Like I'd have came several times. So I'm going to try to give the best information and the most drama that can actually be put out there. And we're going to show the other guys, show the love for this channel, and show all those other channels I mentioned earlier that, you guys are in it to, am I about ready to promote? In it to win it. Philippine Antics. Not me watching any. Yeah, Dexel and Jim, a real narcissistic man who hates everything about the Philippines. There's a lot going on. I just think it's weird how he's really, there's a lot of different things going on with him. Just like somebody And I don't know who mentioned something the other day. It was in the live stream or it was in a message or both. And I think it was the same person. They told us about this other channel. And I'm like, when I went to go look at it, I was like, well, first off, his numbers aren't real. Nowhere close. He's got 40 something thousand, and then he's getting 70,000 views all the time. That's paid by either a farm or Google or both. And his content has been just drab. It's absolutely drab. It's the same old, here's my Filipina, and it showed him living in an apartment in the beginning, and he's only been around for a short period, so nobody gets numbers like that. Not about 2 years ago, they pulled the plug on building your channel, so you would pay for Google advertisement, and that's something we have used that on the occasion. Okay, so I'm not even going to deny that we'd never used it. Okay, but it doesn't guarantee success. It doesn't. And you really have to pour money. So let's say you put $60 into Google to promote a video for you. You're only going to get like $10 out of the video. So you're not going to make any money from that video to begin with. It's just to actually have your video seen, and you hope somebody will subscribe. Them farms out there that are the Chinese, whatever farms where they promise us, which is illegal, by the way, you can buy the numbers. You can outright just get views and subscribers. And in a case like his, everything to me was fake about this channel. And I forgot where he's from. It's either Russia or somewhere. And I couldn't call me whatever. I just couldn't get past the guy's horrible accent. So I could hardly understand her and understand him. That's a lot of channels. So yeah, where's the foreigner farting in the Philippines? Not sure. And there's the foreigner in the Philippines, and then the farming guy. He used to come in our channel every now and then. And the other guy, I thought about covering. Somebody says, "Well, why don't you cover him?" I was like, "He's just old news. That other guy's been around for so long. It's I need something like current going on." It is hard to save. It is. And once you get past a certain age, it's an impossible. I know they say, oh, save anything and all that. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to save up for the next 10 years and cut back on everything. And I'm just going to actually, well, you can't even eat spam anymore and just eat tuna fish. And then I die the following year. Like George said, there's a limit, like for me. Should I be on a total restricted diet where I'm just eating like nothing but greens? Yes and no. It costs a lot of money. It costs really a lot of money. But then the other part of my body, being as I've had surgeries in my stomach, processing greens all the time and beans just is horrible on my stomach. So it's like I'm fighting like all these demons. But even if I went to doing this and that and cut back on this, I pass away a week later. And George says, yeah, I got a limit on that. And George does. George likes his fast food, and it's like fried chicken. George said, yes, fried chicken. But no, it's hard to save. It really is. I'm just, that's why we were going to call the other channel Relatable. And I might still put Relatable back on Relatable Expatainment because we are relatable and entertaining and informative at the same time. That's what Philippine Antics was supposed to be about too. So you'll find the live streams on both channels, and you'll mostly get the new expat help stuff on the other channel. And we'll keep some of our outings on both. And so that way people, some people may not even ever come across Philippine Antics. They may just be looking for the drama mama. Hey, maybe I can rename it when George is not around. Drama Mama Philippines. Oh, there it is, guys. Let me know what you think. Drama Mama Philippines. When George isn't here, we could switch it out for like a week and see if he notices, guys. Drama Mama Philippines. Those who contribute the most to Social Security receive only 20-30% of the contributions in return, while those who contribute the least can receive up to 90%. Yeah, the system is highly unfair. I agree. And I think that is the actual problem. Or like I said, I'm gonna mention it again. It's the ones, that don't pay in at all, and then they can, they collect forever. Or let's put it this way. Let's say baby Thornton, and I know there are guys where their kids are getting checks after they pass away. 18 years of giving him even $400 or $500 a month that'll make her life way easier is not fair. They're like, oh, well, Mark paid into this and that. And then somebody just said it recently. wasn't his last X amount of years where he was on a cruise ship, self-employed? So where's all the taxes that were paid in during, what was it, 20 years, 10 years, however long he said? It's really hard, saying at that point. And some expats fault the cost of miles go up. They overpay thinking they are helping. In reality, services are going to be so expensive, maids won't have jobs. Yeah, it's really a tough deal on that. It really is. Plus the services on some things, like especially the expat restaurants, the Korean restaurants, and then the Filipinos are now raising their prices because rents are going up, food is going up. So I can see why. Um, but I've seen the other services go up too. It's way cheaper than the United States. My problem is when I see dog grooming at a shop, 400 pesos, 500, and then you try to get a groomer to come in the house, and I get the convenience that they want to charge 1,500 pesos, for taking care of a dog at your house. It's like, okay, I get that, I get that. But then I've gone on to another shop and they want 1,000 pesos to actually groom a dog. And so the price will vary in the Philippines. And so it's like, where are they getting this at per dog? They're getting 1,000 pesos. But in the United States, to groom a dog, it would $20 would seem like a dream to have that done. And so, the home services are always going to cost more, and the services of the housekeepers are varying. Like, I just found a whole like group where people are looking for work or they're actually offering services, and it's just out there. You have to, like, some of them are getting live in at 20 and 25,000 pesos a month, and I'm like, 25,000 pesos a month, and you're living in the house paying the electricity. They're providing like their shampoos and all their stuff. They get to eat the food for free is the requirement. They're paying into their SS, like their taxes and all that is the requirement. So I'm like, 25,000 pesos? I'm like, no. And I really thought coming here it was going to be inexpensive. I just can't see it. Hey, Geechee, good morning. Thank you so much, John Jones. Thank you so much. Yeah, but I really got in there. It skips around just like George said. Knocked me out of the fax machine. Landline. Barangay Hall has 4 intact payphones still. Wow. But great photo op. Yeah, get that for me and send that to me, man. And by the way, you guys can do that. If you guys have like photos you want me, to put up, that you guys actually have like strange things going on in the Philippines or whatever, you can send those photos to our Philippine Antics accounts on Messenger through Facebook. Go in there and sign up and drop that in there. So we do interact with people. And I will say that that's something I think some of the other channels are lacking. There's only so many of them that do. I'm not saying that they don't, but once, Frito Bandito. Yeah, it knocked me way out here. All right, there we are. Amino acids, glycine tastes like sugar, but with benefits. Here's the thing. Some of those sugar, like I tried multiple ones and some have different effects. And what I found out is the stevia causes migraines for me. And I know they do mix it with some other things. You have to watch to make sure it's pure. The easiest thing I found was monk fruit and the erythritol or something. And but I think the erythritol is half the sweetness. You have to pay attention to all that. Some is half the sweetness for like double the price, and so monk fruit's been okay. But for me, versus the cost of a small bag like this being 20 US dollars here, it's like 1,000 pesos for some of that. That if I just cut my sugar out and like in my own iced coffee instead of buying it outside where it's got 10 times the sugar in it, I just put like 1 teaspoon of the raw sugar here, like the what do they call that? The like Moscato or any of that. And it's like just measure your sugar out. I'm not diabetic. That's one thing my family doesn't have is diabetes. Knock on wood. That's what's going on with on top of the stroke that Campbell had, he's diabetic. There's a lot of diabetes here, people that with diabetic, and a lot of people assume because I'm big and all of that that I have diabetes and other issues, and I don't. Even my blood pressure is under control, except for my lupus, where like my kidneys are affected and my other organs are most of the time. But I do take medication for that. Hello, Miss Teen. I pay 1,000 a day, 2 times a week, which includes her transport. Yeah, some do have transport. That would be a good amount depending on how many hours. 1,000 would be really costly if she's there. Like most of these new generation, they only want to do 2 or 3 hours. The girls keep putting 2, 3 hours a day. And I'm not paying 1,000 pesos, which is twice above minimum wage, to have somebody come in and do 3 hours worth of work, and she's just getting like we've tried that. We've paid 1,000 pesos a day. They've come in and literally, I've tried a half a dozen times. They come in and they rub a mop on the wall and they don't even do it sufficiently. And then they'll sweep and mop and then they kind of just jingle around the bathroom scrubbing. And I'm like, you can't get nothing done in a few hours. So it's you just have to actually watch it. Okay, there it is. You said 8 hours a day. Okay, free meals plus morning tea, afternoon tea, 8 hours a day. Yeah, I mean, I can see if they'll come in for 8 hours. And I thought about just running X amount of advertisement and, you'd want to vet them and everything else. Um, yeah, I mean, that's something I would definitely get into about having cameras and background checks and unless it's somebody, yeah. Let's see. Say what's going on, Joseph. Discerning Dash, you don't have to worry. By the time you get to that age, you'll be like Star Trek. Yeah, and it will. I don't even, but the cost will be up there. That is for sure. Heidi is the only female expert I listen to. I do not even listen to Filipina channels or other Filipina P a few times. I mean, I like the Filipina P. I appreciate that. I like her, but when I watch her, I see so much commercializing. And I seen a photo of her on Facebook recently. She's using a lot of editing software. Like I seen where she did her own waist, and she literally had her waist down, whittled down to nothing. And I looked, and you could see where she cut her own waist out. I'm like, why? Why are you changing that much about you? Because that's what sells. If the Filipina P was as big as me, giving out the same advice, if I do exactly what the P is, I used to beat myself up over that in the beginning. I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe if I just do exactly the content, like down to the cue that she was doing, it wouldn't sell without the sex. And she already knows that. And so now on top of that, she's like editing her footage, like her photos. And like she didn't have to do that situation. But I like the P. The rest, there's not many female expats. I am original here. Some were like, oh, you're not special, you don't do anything or whatever. I'm the only American expat female here that is doing live streams several times a week with a Filipino husband that is from America. And then you take that, George has the knowledge of both countries. And then you take into the fact that I'm not working for tourism or any of that. That totally puts me original. And like this German woman I want to cover, I've heard people say, oh, there's plenty of Western women doing YouTube and live streams. Very rare. And that are even out there that are here living in the Philippines full time, not travelers, not the ones, and not in retirement. So that just knocks everybody out of the category. And so you guys are stuck with me. That's just where it is, man. Yeah, I'm gonna write that down. I got my little cue card here. When George isn't working, when George isn't watching, when he's not working, yeah. Drama, mama, drama, Drama Mama Expat, or we put Expat Drama Mama Philippines. The problem is if you get 4 words in there, it makes the title too long, and on the phones it cuts it off. So you really need like a two name thing. Maybe just Expat Mama. Maybe I'll change. No, I can't do it. See, that's just it. I like the Expatainment, but maybe we could put Expatainment Mama. Gotta have Philippines in there. See, it's not that easy to figure Expat Drama Mama. Yeah, right. That is true. Millionaires contribute more. Should they get paid, get more back? There's a limit, isn't there, on Social Security? Isn't there the highest check is only at 4,000, 5,000, or something? And I think there is a limit to how much they draw and pay in. Any canned fruit that state no sugar add means artificial sweeteners are added. Right. And the aspartame and all that caused me migraines. I've got neurological issues big time. And I have to watch that. As a matter of fact, I like peaches, and you can get a can for about $1.80 each, under $2. And if I put it together, like they're actually halves, I think it's about 4 or 5 peaches in a can. And so it's got syrup on it. And then I actually go ahead and I know it sounds weird. I rinse it off because they're pretty solid because there's other stuff that preserves it. And then I just blot it off and let it sit out and dry a little bit. And now with the deep freezer, it's on. I've been freezing them and stuff, and I put them into my blender. I'll make a smoothie after here in a few minutes. Yeah. I stopped watching the Filipina P when I found out the Philippine government pays her a subsidy to put out pro. When I did not know that. That is new to me. That is absolutely new. Where'd you get the information at? I'd be curious. I kind of figured there was something going on. I'm not going to lie. She only. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? It even showed her recently on Facebook photos at a government office. So I'm curious. That makes sense. So because I'm also curious on her numbers. Her numbers do not match whatsoever. We have a YouTube manager. That's another thing that makes us different. We have a YouTube manager, and only us have been invited to Google headquarters and to these events of Google vloggers. The only expat Filipino channel that's made it there. So that puts us at the top of the list. Go check out our other Google. If you just put in Philippine Antics in Google, you'll see that we've been to the main headquarter office for those that are in here right now. And we managers analyzed her channel. There's nothing correct about her channel whatsoever. Everything's off. About 2 years ago, they cut that all down, and she's her numbers are just up there. You should only be getting anywhere between 5 and 10%. If your channel's really good, 10%. Like really, really good. It doesn't matter situation, and her numbers are way above that. The same with you only should be getting 1 comment per 1,000, and somehow she's got 2.3 thousand comments on a video. Something's not right about her numbers, how it's being done. So maybe the government's doing something. I don't know. Maybe she is paying out extensive advertisement that's really getting people in. Who knows? But her numbers are some of the most off that I've seen on any vlogger. Okay. However it's done, it does not look, you know. So maybe it's the Philippine government. I love the P as much as Geechee Lion. All right. Founding YouTuber. Is she supposed to put out pro American? That is true. Should she give the money back? Nope. That is true. Well, that is true. That's Kulos. Becoming Filipino, that was just made the 15th or 16th Filipino and since the beginning of time. And same thing. He's being paid by tourism and all that. So it's you know, I'm gonna tell you right now, you guys can say whatever you want. If anything ever came down the line, they're like, okay, the U.S. embassy wants you to join up and do this and that and be, pro-American and this isn't. Nope, I gotta talk smack about both sides. You ain't never gonna pay me enough. I'm somewhat happy as a coconut here on my situation. You can't, like George and me say, you can't buy this happiness. You we're just so beyond that. We both had a lot of money at one point. We've done everything we're going to do. What we're happy with is sitting down and playing Monopoly and eating pizza. You can't put money on that. You just can't. She's young. She needs the money and the employment and stuff. She's got a long life. I would not trade places with her in any manner to think that I've still got, another, she's got a long time to go. Hey, Lynn, good morning. Thera, good morning. Thera's life. I'm just going to whip through these. That's why I'm with a Filipino, because of my ex husband. And yes, he traded me off for half his age. Wait. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up because we'll have a delivery here in a little bit and George is not back. I appreciate you guys being here. Be sure to like and subscribe. Leave your comment if you made it all the way through the live stream. Next live, it's about every 2 days we do a live stream. It'll be Thursday. So leave a comment. Send me a comment in the comments and let me know stuff that you guys want to see. And consider membership. Okay, you don't want to miss out. Don't want to be left behind. I think there's 60 videos and we leave other posts for you guys and update you guys with different things. Appreciate it. Take care of yourself, guys. Bye. Bye, guys. You guys take care of yourself. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. And thank you. Oh, geez. Oh my God, I almost did an Elon Musk here, guys. Oh, holy snap. I was just, hello. I was like, hold on. Could that have all just been an accident? Oh my God, there's been a whole discussion on that. I started going like this, and they said that all them other politicians that put their hands out and was doing all this, was they the same thing? And I was about ready to go like this and just wave or whatever. I need more coffee, guys. So, all right, guys, take care. Become a member. That way you can pay for whatever.